Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Thursday night edition of Mayhem. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyo and Dee Woodson. And guys, what a night we have for you guys as we're going to do a reverse opposite. Normally we cover AEW first and then do NXT second, but because NXT started first last night and AEW was tonight, we're going to do a reverse order. So NXT will start off and then we'll go to AEW Dynamite. So NXT, we kicked it off from Full Sail University with the new NXT champion, Karrion Kross, along with Scarlett Bordeaux. But guys, he's no longer the champion. Unfortunately, an injury that he suffered during the match against Keith Lee, it was proven to be a separated shoulder. Therefore, Karrion Kross had no choice but to relinquish the NXT title. Therefore, the belt has been vacated. Ouch. I mean, this is a tough blow for NXT. I know Michael Bullock would be absolutely not happy with this decision at all, but injuries are part of the game. And unfortunately, that is exactly what happened with this situation. So Karrion Kross has been forced to give up the title, but he already said that whoever the NXT champion becomes, that he will be back and that he will go after whoever the champion is. Tick tock. The sands of the hourglass has now begun again. Well, look, it was a good promo. It was solid. It was what we expected it. But my heart breaks for a Karrion Kross. Even though I know a lot of people felt like it was too soon, maybe he didn't really deserve the opportunity at the title as quickly as he did, and then for him to literally have to lose the belt as quickly as he did, a lot of people are now starting to second guess NXT and their decision of A, putting the title on Karrion Kross, and B, calling up Keith Lee too soon to the main roster because of what just happened. A lot of the times accidents and injuries do happen in wrestling. As many of you guys know, about a couple of years ago, when Finn Balor became the first ever Universal Champion, he was forced to drop the belt due to an injury that he suffered the night before at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened here to Karrion Kross. Got injured on Saturday evening at NXT TakeOver 30, and was forced to drop the belt in a not so great fashion. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours, my friend. This is a tough situation for NXT. You had a champion, they gave him the rocket pack to the moon. All of a sudden, basically, the jetpack literally ran out of fuel, and Karrion Kross is now out of the picture for the time being.
Well, I'll tell you what, Meth. Oh boy, that title has gone through some turmoil as of late. Keith Lee's clearly audible title reign of just over a month now was already questionable, but now there's no continuity to the title at all. And in a little while, we're going to have to see how the company handles yet another vacation of a major championship. So, yeah, I mean, second best segment of the night. There was one other segment that was better. And, you know, things do happen in the world of professional wrestling at any given time. I mean, you know, it's a damn shame that, you know, this had to happen. Separated shoulder. I mean, he's going to be gone indefinitely. I don't think we're going to see Karrion Kross again until maybe 2021 I think that's probably when we're gonna see Karrion Kross and the Smoke Show Scarlet again. But what a damn shame. I mean, because I think he had unlimited championship potential here. I think he could have had a run just as long as Cole's. I mean, who knows? But it's a what if file. But Bullock mentioned it in our messenger chat. MF just mentioned it here. It's obviously reminiscent of Finn Balor 4 years ago when he became the inaugural Universal Champion, but had to vacate the title 24 hours after. So 4 days, but still it's the same amount. And he's the second champion that had to relinquish the title. The other was Tommaso Ciampa. So, it is what it is. We wish Karrion Kross the best, and we pray for immediate healing as well as a speedy recovery. And we're just gonna have to wait and see. So, second best segment of the night, no question about it. So Didi Woodson, what now?
Yeah, that's the big question. What are we gonna do now? Which we'll get that answer a little bit later on in the night. But yeah, this was definitely like the second best segment of the night. That it was. Yeah, it was a little emotional to see the champion have to relinquish, and it happens. I mean, someone may take a fall wrong. Someone may deliver the fall wrong. It just happens. Things happen where you get injured, and as much as you hear people say wrestling's real, you hear about the same amount of people saying it's fake. Well, if it's as fake as you guys think it is, why do these people get injured? It happens. It's serious. This is a serious injury that he's got, and yeah, he's going to be out for quite a while. It could be, we may not even see him return to WrestleMania next year. Who knows? It depends on how fast he heals and exactly how bad that injury is. So yeah, it's going to be something for him to have to go through. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, and then we actually go into the in-ring action to start for the night, and we started off with a match for the NXT Tag Team Championship, as it was Brisango going up against Imperium. Matthew Barzell and Fabian Eichner, the winners of the bout, in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. And new NXT Tag Team Champions, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, Brisango has won the titles. Anthony Florio, history has been made at Full Sail University. Florio? Uh-oh.
Did
all right.
we lose him?
Or he might be busy with some. Yeah, we lost him.
We lost him.
All right, so Didi Woodson, I'm gonna give it to you then. We got a crowning of new tag team champions.
Yeah, we certainly did. I mean, this is a really good match, which is kind of surprising because Brisango for all this time before they came to NXT was the joke. They were the butt of WWE. Dressing up as the fashion police and all this stuff. They actually came out there tonight or last night, and they proved that they have got the talent. They've got the ability that they can go out there and they can be the underdogs and still pull it off. And so it was nice to see these guys actually get their first title. Because of course they didn't have one in the main roster, and didn't have one on NXT before, so this is good that they have it now. Plus, Imperium's had the titles for quite some time, so it was pretty much due for a title change. So I'm going to give this probably 3.25 stars. Very well done, and not much more I'm going to add. So I'll toss it back to you, Fletch.
Yeah, no, this was a stunning upset. I don't think a lot of people thought that Brisango was going to be the ones to win the titles, but they did it. They pulled it off, and they made history. So this is their first championship ever. Fandango or Tyler Breeze has never won a title on the main roster or in NXT. So, I mean, this is a big moment for them. So this is an incredible moment, an incredible night for them to see and walk away with this championship is unbelievable. So without a doubt, history made. 3.25 stars. You're absolutely right about that. And we're just going to move right along. The next match we had was Jake Atlas versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa wins the match in 50 seconds. We're not even going to dignify this with a response. This was by far the worst fight of the night. It was just Ciampa being Ciampa. Dominating, in your face. He's definitely back in a big way and dominated in the performance. So, absolutely destroyment. Then the next match that we had was Shotzi Blackheart versus Mia Yim. Shotzi Blackheart wins the match in 4 minutes and 31 seconds. This was a fun little sprint. This was a decent match. I could give this about maybe at least 2 stars for what it was worth. I think the body of work of both ladies was pretty good. There was some decent chemistry, not a lot, because like you said, with 4 minutes and 31 seconds, you don't get a lot of time, but this was a nice little fast sprint for anything else. I thought they did an incredible job, to say the very least, so there's really nothing more to add. Dee Woodson, I'll just give it to you.
Yeah, this was a nice little match. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Mia Yim was not expecting to have Blackheart as her opponent, but it is what it is. Things happen, and so yeah. I mean, it was short, yes, but these guys did a great job with what little time they were offered. So it's yours, Fletch.
And then the big announcement. Mr. William Regal comes out and says that next week we're going to have a Tuesday night edition of NXT, and made the big announcement here that what's going to happen is that it's going to be a fatal 4-way Iron Man match for the NXT Championship. The 4 competitors that's going to be in the match will be Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole. Dee Woodson, oh my goodness. The caliber of all 4 men, on top of the fact that it's going to be an Iron Man match for the NXT title. Pat yourselves on the back, NXT. If you wanted it to make a statement of how to resolve it, that's one hell of a way to do it.
This is going to be one hell of a match. I mean, for one, you don't get very many fatal 4-way types of Iron Man matches. And for 2, it's been a while since we've had a 60-minute Iron Man match. I've seen a lot of 30-minute Iron Man matches lately, but this is 60 minutes with 4 men. So this is going to be a very good match, to say the least, and definitely something to look forward to next week. So, I mean, they really knocked it out of the park when it comes to, giving us something to look forward to to give us something to look forward to for next week, to draw us in to watch the show. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. And even Finn, when he did a little promo a little bit later on in the night for this match for next week, he even brought up what we've already brought up, about him being going through this because of the, being injured when he was going for the first Universal, or when he was the first Universal champion. So, he, as far as, knowing how Cross feels, he's the one who knows. But this is going to be great, because all four of these guys, they are very awesome competitors. They've all four, held the titles. So it's going to be really good to see what these guys can do. We already know what Gargano and Champa could do alone against each other. Yeah, you're throwing in two more guys into the mix. This is going to be awesome to see. So that's definitely going to be the match of the night, I think, next week. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, now that we got Anthony Florio back, we're gonna have to catch you up, Florio. There's a lot. First off, we're gonna talk about is Brisango winning the NXT Tag Team Championship in 8 minutes and 20 seconds over Imperium.
This is the first championship of any kind in WWE brand for both men, making for a nice moment. Technically, 2 title switches in the first half hour of this show. The match seemed decent, but with 6 or 8 minutes of commercials, it was hard to get into the flow. But I'm going to give it a solid 3 to 3.25 stars and say it was the second best fight of the night. So, big win for Brisango. First ever titles for both men. Congratulations to him. Then what? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, what's next?
Then I kind of basically blew by. That was the Champa match. We're not even going to talk about that. We're going to go into Mia Yim versus Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi won the match in 4 minutes and 31 seconds.
2-star effort. Though Mia Yim loses as often as she wins, this does indeed come off as a big win for Shotzi, given that Yim has had a high profile alongside her boyfriend Keith Lee of late. Both of these women have kind of rode along right in the middle of the card. So we'll see if this is part of a sustained push for Shotzi. We'll see. So nothing really more to say on that. I do believe after that was Mr. Regal's big announcement.
Yes, it was. It was the announcement of the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match for the NXT title next week, as it's going to be Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor, and Tommaso Ciampa. Florio, it's yours.
Segment of the night, right here. I mean, anytime that our former Goodwill ambassador makes an appearance, that's going to equal ratings. And man, what an elite panel who came up with this. Mr. Regal alongside of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Matt Bloom. I mean, well done, guys. I mean, that was a brilliant decision. I mean, Bullock and I initially thought it was going to be either some sort of a tournament or maybe even a battle royal, but wow. Perhaps the 4 greatest NXT champions of all time in what I strongly feel is going to be the greatest match in NXT history. This is going to be a 5-star classic. This is going to be chock full of Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. And based on the stipulation and the time limit, this is going to be a match. This is probably going to be the match of the year in the world of professional wrestling. Right now, that honor belongs to Hangman Page and Kenny Omega against the Young Bucks from Revolution. That's the match of the year so far. If this match goes exactly as I think it's going to go, man, it's going to make that AEW tag title match from Revolution look like an absolute dud enhancement fight, because this is going to be, wow. You think of the styles of all 4 of these men with the stipulation, the time limit. I just hope that this has limited to 0 commercial interruption. I was kind of hoping to get that the other night on Impact Wrestling when Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace had their 30-minute Iron Woman match for the Knockouts Championship. Spoiler alert, we did not. We had like 2, I believe. But I still have high praise for that match, and I'll elaborate more on that on Monday night as part of my Tony's Take. But for right now, I mean, anything less than 5 stars is going to be considered disappointing, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because this match has 5 stars written all over it, easy, with the body of work of all 4 of these guys. So, USA Network, I know this is probably going to be a big fat no from you to us, and nothing we can do about it. God forbid, I wish we could. But I want limited to 0 commercial interruption for this match. You can't have any breaks. Unless you do the split screen, picture-in-picture at times, I guess that's okay, but limited to 0 commercial interruption. Nobody wants to miss a second or a minute of this match. I don't, MF doesn't, Didi doesn't, and you know damn sure Michael Bullock, Mr. NXT, he's not going to want to miss any of it either. So, there's nothing left to say, guys, except 5-star classic on the horizon. Tuesday night cannot come fast enough. I cannot wait to see it. Screw Impact Wrestling. I'm putting that on the back burner because NXT is going to be going head-to-head with Impact Wrestling. But thankfully, there's an encore. I can watch it after, which is perfect. So nothing to worry about. I'm going to be very busy Tuesday night, so don't book any shows. That's all I got to say. So, MF, there's nothing more to say. I mean, I know we're not NXT guys, but damn it to hell, I wish we were calling this match because this has 5 stars and match of the year and greatest NXT match of all time potential. No doubt.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's reset the table, and the next match we had was Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swarbscott for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and Santos Escobar successfully defends the title at 9 minutes and 50 seconds. This was a solid match. This was a very good match. I'm going to say 3.5 stars. And Santos Escobar basically dismisses a really good challenger in Isaiah Swarbscott. I mean, Swerve had a moment in the match where it looked like he was about to take the NXT Cruiserweight title away. However, Escobar was able to rise up to the occasion and got the big win here. So, very good match. You can say one of the top fights of the evening. Anthony Faulio, it is all yours.
It's not one of the top fights of the evening. It's the fight of the night right here. This was the fight of the night for me. I have 16 minutes and 41 seconds. 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. This was my fight of the night. Santos Escobar has sneered and been somewhat jerky throughout this run, but he's largely held some babyface beliefs. It was refreshing to see a genuine heel move in this setting, allowing Swerve to have an out after a match that just kept getting better as it went on. I'd love to see Swerve get a Cruiserweight Championship run at some point, but the way Escobar's reign is going, he can hold the title until, for as long as he wants to. I mean, I still feel that the one man who I think will ultimately dethrone him, I still feel it's going to be Drake Maverick. I don't know why, but I still got this gut feeling that Drake Maverick is going to be the one that ultimately dethrones Santos Escobar for that Cruiserweight Championship. So, great matchup here. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. And onward and upward. And next week, I mean, you thought that, this Tuesday show coming up couldn't be any bigger than that takeover worthy main event that we're going to get on free television. What? Oh, it gets better. Legado del Fantasma versus Isaiah Swarbscott and our new NXT Tag Team Champions, Brisango. 6-man tag team street fight. Didi Woodson, how about it?
Didi?
Didi, are you there?
Yeah, I guess I didn't unmute. Yeah, it's gonna be one heck of a night, one heck of a match. This is gonna be great. So, as for We're doing the cruiserweight, right?
Yes, cruiserweight title match.
As for that match, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I thought it was very well done. These guys did a great job. Um, but yeah, the the match, Anthony was just talking about. Yeah, that's going to definitely be a great one too. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more because I think I'm wearing down. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, very well. And then, like you said, this was solid. This was a 3.5 star match, no doubt about it. Total agreement. So, with that said, we just got to move right on along here. Next up on the fight card, we had was. All right, yes, it was Kyle O'Reilly versus Drake Maverick. Kyle O'Reilly wins the match in 3 minutes and 26 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Kyle O'Reilly, short, sweet, straight to the point. Big win over Drake Maverick, who is very gamed in this match.
2.5 stars. This was a fun little sprint. I mean, I continue to be amazed at how heel heavy things seem right now. It's been a big question of whether the rest of Undisputed Era would join Adam Cole in his assumed face turn. And I half expected him to show up here. But this match was very strong for its brief slot. So, no question about that. And a slight correction on that tag team title match. I'm going to bump that up to 3.25 to 3.5, but it's still my second best fight of the night by a smidge. I thought that cruiserweight match was just a smidge better. So, but for this, 2.5 stars, fun little sprint. Didi Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So I'm not going to add anything else. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, solid match. I'm gonna say about 2.5 to near 3. Like you said, fun little sprint. Really nothing more to add. And the next match we have is our main event of the evening, a women's tag team match, and it was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Rhea Ripley and NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai. When it was all said and done, it was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai winning the match, as it was Raquel Gonzalez hitting the pump handle suplex on Rhea Ripley for the 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, I don't have a time of the fall for this.
10 minutes, 8 seconds.
Thank you, Anthony. Didi Woodson, it is all yours. Raquel and Dakota wins it in 10:08.
Yes, and we had the little shenanigans that happened in this as well, with Mercedes coming out and pulling Rhea off of the apron. No, in the end, it didn't cost the match, but it was enough to, get into her head. And so when she got back into the ring, it was pretty much over with. But I'm going to give this a 3 stars. I mean, this is a good main event, and they did a good job with putting the girls, in this spot and letting them go at it. Surprisingly, Rhea and Io worked very well together, since they were the two everybody was concerned about, because Rhea's wanting Io's title. But yeah, it was a very good match. So I'm not going to add anything else. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this was a solid match, no doubt about it. It's not the fight of the night by any stretch, but it was a very, very, very good match. I don't think there's really much for us to add here. I think it was, like you said, a solid main event, a very good matchup, but for Raquel Gonzalez, you just pinned a former NXT Women's Champion. And by far, in our minds, one of the top champions that really excelled in NXT in Rhea Ripley. Now, yes, you could say it's a false finish because of the fact that there was a little bit of some interference along the way, some shenanigans, but Raquel Gonzalez can say, I pinned Rhea Ripley. I'm one up on her. So, we'll see what happens. This is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Anthony Florio, it's yours. We got a little taste of what Gonzalez and Rhea will do. You let these two go at it. this could be a women's fight of the year candidate.
It could. We'll have to wait and see. On a show as newsworthy as this one, it's surprising that this simple tag team match got the main event spot. I'm not against it, but I'm surprised. The match was booked pretty heavily and was too chaotic to be much of anything, but it was exciting at times and definitely moved forward two separate feuds for Rhea Ripley. Shirai, the champion, was kind of an afterthought in the match, though, with all the titles moving around. It's probably best to have a low profile right now, but I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars for the effort. So really nothing more to say. MF, let's get into our overall thoughts.
I'll lead off on this. I thought it was a really good show. I mean, the biggest story of it is the newsworthiness. The NXT title had to be vacated. Then we later find out that it's going to be contested under a fatal 4-way Iron Man match. So, I mean, and the participants of the match, who's going to be in it, I mean, 4 of the greatest guys in NXT. I mean, there's nothing you can do at that point. You hit a home run. Then to capitalize and crown new tag team champions, Brisango, taking down what was undoubtedly one of the best champions they had on the company in Imperium and knocking them off the perch. I mean, you had yourself a makings of an incredible night, and that's exactly what they did. A solid Cruiserweight title match. Yes, there was a couple of matches that weren't so great along the way, but so much storyline progression, and yes, they have at least 2 big matches bookended for next week's show. One, the the 6-man tag street fight, and undoubtedly what could be one of the most highly anticipated matches in NXT history. Not only that, could easily become not only NXT fight of the year, but could be the actual pro wrestling fight of the year with the fatal 4-way for the NXT title in the Iron Man. I mean, NXT already has set themselves up for what undoubtedly could be a banner night for the black and gold brand. So this is going to be awesome next week. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it was a solid show, but next week could be the best show of NXT all year.
Obviously you're not going to put a rating on it.
No rating.
Oh, all right. But if I were to, I would give this a solid 8 if it was me, because we had 3 quality matches. I mean, the 2 title matches delivered. The women's main event was fine. And then you had the great promo from Cross. And then, of course, that epic announcement by Mr. Regal. I mean, if not for those 2 somewhat cut out matches, I mean, it could have been a lot higher. But still. Brisango won the tag team championships. And while it was a good moment to see them do so, I think it's likely they're going to be transitional champions. I think we're headed to seeing all members of Legado del Fantasma holding gold. I wouldn't be surprised if Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza dethrone them. And then you have Escobar as the Cruiserweight champion. Next week's Iron Man match will likely be the entirety of the second half of the show. Introductions will probably start around 10 of the hour. And I'm anxious to see how many falls are actually scored. And what would be done if there were to be a tie? Would all competitors move forward? Or could it be that 2 tie at the top and they move on to a singles bout the following week? I don't know. Tommaso Ciampa being heel is not going to make me complain any. But the question is whether NXT can afford for this to be the case. And meanwhile, what a drag for Karrion Kross to have an injury at this massive step in his career. On the upside, he'll have an easy built-in story for whenever he's able to return. So that's really all there is to say on this. If I were to give it a rating, it would be an 8. No question about that. Mainly because of how newsworthy this show was. And that main event next week, well, could be I think it has potential. If all goes well, we could be looking at the greatest match in NXT history, men or women. So Bayley and Sasha, they're the greatest NXT women's match. But when it comes to the men and overall, this could be it. So nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, get your final thoughts, and then we'll move on to AEW.
Yeah, this was a good NXT, very newsworthy. Yeah, you had the low points, but I mean, you had a lot of really great things that went on in here. Um, Getting the new tag champions, it was a great idea, especially with NXT UK coming back next month. This will give Imperium a chance to go back to that. Um, and it's sad to see Karrion Kross have to relinquish, but we're getting something awesome out of this in the end. So yeah, Doomsday Clock ticking away again, and whenever he's able to get back, we're going to have one awesome match again for him to regain his title that he had to let go of. So yeah, several low points, but a lot of high points and a lot of storyline progression. Even in the low points, he even has a little bit of storyline progression. So yeah, this was great. I mean, very good matches, very good lineup, and some surprises that came out of it as well. So it's yours, Fletch.
Alright guys, so now it's time to get into AEW. So we started it off with the Gauntlet match, the tag team gauntlet that the winners would receive an AEW World Tag Team title match at All Out. So it started it off with the Young Bucks versus QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, the Natural Nightmares. And when it was all said and done, the Young Bucks advances at 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Then the Young Bucks went up against the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, the winners of that match. Now, this is a total time at the point of 17 minutes and 35 seconds. Now, if you do the math, that's the time of the total fall, not the actual fall itself. And it was the Best Friends advancing because Adam Hangman Page literally screwed the Young Bucks. Okay. Then the final battle was the Best Friends versus FTR, Dak Harwood, and Cash Wheeler with Mr. Tully Blanchard, the winners of the bout, in a total time of 25 minutes and 40 seconds. And the team that will receive the AEW World Tag Team title match at All Out will be FTR. So, I don't know if you want me to just break it down individually or just give me one big fat rating on this, but
one overall match.
All right.
All overall.
First off, this was kind of expected. Okay, it goes two ways. One, FTR winning is no big surprise. I'm not stunned. I'm not surprised. They deserve the win. They deserve the shot. But because of what Adam Hangman Page did, it almost hangs as an asterisk because, for one, we lost out on the dream match. We lost out on FTR versus the Young Bucks. We were going to have it. If that would have been the match, this would have been fight of the night. This would have, you probably would have had to peel me away from this. Because of the fact that they did the Best Friends instead, because of shenanigans, I gotta penalize this. And the thing is, the first match was okay. The second match was good, but shenanigans. The final fall kind of fell almost point by numbers, so I really had nothing else to add at the end of the match. So, at the end of the day, I can easily give this 4 to 4.25 stars, but I can't go any higher than that. I mean, it was a great match. It told a great story on so many levels, but I wasn't as enthused as other people have been. I really thought that especially that middle match really got hurt because of the fact that of the shenanigans and what Hangman Adam Page did. It almost feels like that he didn't want no part of Young Bucks, and that he was feeling that maybe we can take FTR and have a better shot at that. I think that's going to backfire because I think the Bucks are going to come back and screw them over. And I hate to say this, but I think there's about to be a major implosion within the Elite. And if this happens, oh boy, this could be very interesting. Anthony, it's yours.
There already is an implosion in the Elite. The Bucks kicked Hangman out. Hangman's gone. So, yeah, there's your implosion right there. So, anyway, this to me was the fight of the night. I mean, this was 4 to 4.25 stars. Absolutely. The finish of FTR Best Friends appeared to come from out of nowhere, almost certainly confirming a real, legit injury to Chuck Taylor. That is unfortunate because that portion of this match could have been a hell of a lot of fun, especially considering how hot a streak Taylor and Trent had been on here in this year. With that said, it almost benefits FTR because it makes them look like relentless heels, willing and able to exploit any injury until the opposition has no choice but to submit. Hangman Page costing the Bucks, realizing both that they pose a very real threat to him and Kenny Omega's tag team titles, while also protecting a blossoming relationship with FTR and Tully Blanchard, was a great bit of storytelling. That they did not rush to give the entire story away, instead letting it breathe, was also a wise decision. This was a great way to kick off the show and a fantastic spotlight for the deepest division on the roster. Going into this show tonight, I said to myself this was going to be the fight of the night. This was going to steal the damn show. And damn it to hell, it did. 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night. Didi Woodson, your thoughts?
Yeah, I can pretty much agree with that. Definitely a fight of the night, and definitely 4.5 stars. Great triple match setup here. They did a great job. Yeah, it's a little disappointing that Adam Page jumped in and did what he did, but I think in the end, that was what he was going for, was to be kicked out of the Elite. So he pretty much got what he wished there. Because how many times through the other shows leading up to this has he said he's not a member of the Elite, or he would walk away when Omega was celebrating with the Elite? So yeah, I think he got what he wanted tonight by being kicked out. And if he thinks that he's going to get an easy win for his team against FTR, then he's got another thing coming on that one. So not much more I'm going to add. It's your Fletch.
Then we had a squash match. It was Lance Archer versus Sean Mulala. He beats him in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. We're not even going to dignify that at all. So we're just going to move right on along. Then there was a whole bunch of other stuff, promotings and whatnot. Hey, my Larry Hurts. What's up, man? So yeah, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for dropping the line. And all right, so next up we had was the promo. This was between Jon Moxley and MJF, where Moxley has agreed he will not use the paradigm shift at All Out for the title match. He has agreed that he will not hit him with that finishing maneuver it's been officially outlawed. So, Anthony Florio, give me your thoughts. This was a really good segment, to say the very least.
I would say segment of the night. I'm going to be honest with you.
Agreed.
Um, Real quick, the young man who Lance Archer beat on, he's not any average Joe. I mean, I happen to know the guy very well. Sean Maluda. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic and had some other opportunities here and there. So I know exactly who that young man is. I mean, very interesting. But as far as this segment goes, this was amazing. This was a nice twist on a tired segment. There was no table spot, as we have come to expect, but the heel also did not get the best of the babyface. Instead, Moxley outsmarted the loudmouth baddies, and the result is a match that will prove either wildly entertaining or set the stage for the dismayed heels to heal their fractured pride. Either way, the promo work was strong, and MJF, like him or not, continues to prove he is on the level of his more experienced dance partner, at least on the mic. And this was just amazing. The back and forth with both of the guys was great. And next week, John Moxley is going to beat up MJF's lawyer. That ought to be fun. Now that will put some butts in the seats and some eyes on the screens. No doubt about that. So, my boy, 0 F's given. I mean, that's all there is to say on that. So, and I loved that little shot he took at Renee Young at the end. I mean, yeah, tell your hot little wife that I'm single. Yeah, let's go. So, yeah, I mean, if I was a smarky heel, I would have done the exact same thing, but I'm not that. So, if I were Moxley, I would have done the exact same thing, bro. That's all there is to say. So, but all in all kidding aside, this was the segment of the night. Hands down, this was fun. I cannot wait for the match at All Out. And we all agree our early projection is that MJF's going to steal the title. And when that happens, oh boy, Michael Bullock is not going to be fun to be around. That's all I can say. So, Didi Whitson, it's on to you now. Segment of the night, hands down.
Segment of the night, but I think I would agree with Bullock. I can't stand the little idiot either. So, yeah, definitely a great segment. But, you know, MJF made that one fatal mistake. He did not re-look through the contract or reread the contract because Moxley had added that 17th page that said that if the lawyer, I think it's if he didn't win the match or something like that, then the match was off. If he doesn't show up, yeah. Okay, if he didn't show up, then the match with MJF is off. So this is going to be interesting to see if this lawyer actually shows up or not, and is ready to get squashed. Because the move is legal in the match with the lawyer, even though it's not legal with MJF. And seeing MJF with the neck brace and the walker and all that crap, I mean, come on. He didn't do that much damage. So grow up. Get you a set. Because right now, you're losing your man card. I'm done.
Yikes! And I thought Michael Bullock was bad, man. Mama just laid the law down. God damn. Well, the thing is, I don't expect this to be an actual match. I think we all can agree Wardlow and MJF is going to jump Moxley the minute that he tries to harm the lawyer. So, I mean, who are you kidding on that one? That's going to give MJF a lot of momentum going into All Out. So, no, I'm not buying it. I don't believe it's going to happen like that. All right, anyway. Next up on the fight card, 8-man tag team match, as it was Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, Butcher, and The Blade with Eddie Kingston, and they went up against Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, Sonny Kiss, and Joey Janela. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 55 seconds was Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, Butcher, and The Blade. And I believe this goes to... Does it go to Dee Dee Woodson, Anthony?
I believe it does.
It goes to Dee Dee Woodson. So, Dee Dee, it's yours.
This was a fun little match. I I don't know. I mean, it was a good little match, and it was good to see these guys face each other off, and everything. So I'm just going to give it like 2 stars. I'm not going to say too much more because my brain's shutting down. So it's yours.
All right, no problem, Dee Dee. You know what? I'm gonna say this. It was an okay match. It was a solid battle. Um, at the end of the day, the I guess you could say the outcome was never in doubt. But it does give a little bit of some momentum for Eddie Kingston's group. Eddie Kingston is definitely the ringleader of this crew and did a really good job. You know, he's kind of been manipulating the stuff around, doing what he needs to do. I don't mind it. I think Eddie Kingston's a really good character. I like him. I've been a big fan of Eddie Kingston. Yeah, he's a little bit of a knucklehead and an idiot, but he's done really well. So nothing more to say. This was a solid match. I'll give this about 2 stars. I could say go a little more higher than that, but I do understand why Dee Dee Woodson is probably getting a little tired. It's been a long day. So Anthony, it's yours.
I'm actually. What was the time of that fall again, MF?
8:55.
2.5 to 3. Sleeper fight of the night. This was a sprint of a match that showcased the heels while giving the underutilized baby faces a platform to prove their value. After the match, Kingston announced that all the heels would be involved in the casino battle royale at All Out and vowed that one of them would win. While that doesn't seem particularly likely given some of the other names in the bout, it could be a great way to strengthen the credibility of the United Front while setting them up for a higher profile role in the company. Brian Pillman Jr. looked like a star in the making, and even in defeat was hyped strong by the commentary team and will be a major force in the bright future of AEW if and when he is free to sign with the company exclusively. So 2.5 to 3 stars, sleeper fight of the night, MF. I believe we have another match that we really don't need to speak of here.
Yeah, pretty much. Big Swole versus Britt Baker, Reba, and Penelope Ford in a 3-on-1 handicap. Big Swole wins the match in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, that's by default worst fight of the night. I don't think we even need to say anything. The biggest indictment on AEW, the women's division, and you just saw it in the forefront here tonight. Final match of the night, main event, Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy in a tables match. And like Dee Dee Woodson would always say, the little idiot known as Sammy Guevara, sign guy, just knocked off Matt Hardy in a tables match in 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Yoy! Alright, major overbooked finish. Obviously, we knew how this was going to play out. I'm not happy with the outcome, obviously. This was about 2.5 to 3. It was a solid main event. Anthony, it's yours. Guevara just knocked off Hardy.
2.5 to 3 stars, I agree. What a disappointing main event through no fault of the performers themselves. The timing of the show felt off, particularly as it got later and later in the broadcast. Hardy and Guevara took to the ring with just about 10 minutes to have a match over a month in the making. The result was a rushed encounter that featured the sort of hard-hitting action you would expect, but was more of a greatest hits romp rather than the suitable conclusion of a blood feud. It's a shame too, because they could have had a hell of a match if given more time to do so. The Orange Cassidy Chris Jericho brawl was fine, but we have seen so much out of those two that it almost feels like the feud has run its course, and now we're limping to a close rather than ramping up to one last encounter. Hopefully their all-out match is awesome because they are equally engaging. The build to said match, not so much. Chris Jericho was great on commentary, though, walking the fine line between heeldom and promoter and doing so to great effect. But disappointing main event here. I will give it 2.5 to 3 for the effort, though, so Nothing more to say. Didi, what's in your thoughts?
Definitely 2.5 to 3. Yeah, the match itself, like the greatest hits going on. So yeah, that wasn't that great, but you know, I would like to see them revisit this a little bit later, and actually give it more time and see, what would happen on that. Yeah, I guess Lawrence Cassidy needed a chance to, I guess, rebuttal from what happened the week before. But I mean, this was not really the time to do it. And with everything as rushed as it was there at the end, it really just kind of left everything lackluster. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, and all right. So final time tonight, Anthony Faulio. Final thoughts on AEW.
Yeah, it was a solid show. I don't really know how to rate it, but if I were to, I would probably rate this between 7.5. I think NXT was just a smidgen better, mainly because of the history that was because of how newsworthy that show was. I think I would have to give the slight edge to the NXT this week, but AEW did have its moments. I mean, that tag team gauntlet. I mean, I knew that thing was going to be good. I'm not at all surprised, and I mean, what else can you say? Looking at the grand scheme here, it was a solid show tonight. It had enough of everything. A high quality opener. That contract signing promo by MJF and Moxley, amazing. The elite drama really took a nice big turn here. A nice storyline development. Nice surprise there that I'm sure most didn't expect. And some of the promo work felt a little left to be desired, but I mean, Dark Order, they had that segment was a little cringeworthy, but there was much more to enjoy tonight. I mean, the Gauntlet match, and I mean, but the reason why I'm giving this about the 7.5 here, the first half of that show, I mean, the Gauntlet match and the contract signing segment, I mean, those two things were great. And then throw in that fun little 8-man tag team sprint. I mean, that was fun. But there was some bad. That Judd women's match, the Archer squash and everything else. But we did have some quality action. So, but NXT, I think for me, by a smidge wins the week because that was a very newsworthy show, especially that bomb by Mr. Regal. So that's really all I can. And plus, they had a title switch on top of it. So 7.5. I think that's the correct rating. So Didi Whitson, let's get your final thoughts.
Yeah, I could agree with that rating. NXT definitely was better this week. I mean, it's just a lot of let down with AEW this week. Yeah, we had some great matches, a couple of great matches, at least one great segment, one strange segment. But just a lot of confusion, I think, near the end here, especially near the end here with everything going on and everything. So, yeah, there's just not much I'm going to add to this. So, it's yours, Fletch. Good night.
Good night, Didi. Guys, I hate to do this, and I really, really, really hate to drop this big announcement, but guys, I hate to cut in, but there is some breaking news right now, and unfortunately, it's another Hard Times death. This has just been posted just a couple of minutes ago. Of all places, Impact Wrestling has just posted this. It says, and I quote, "We are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Bullet Bob Armstrong, We send our condolences to his friends and family. Unfortunately, guys, yes, it has been confirmed just minutes ago by multiple media outlets. Bullet Barb Armstrong has passed away. Um, yeah, this stinks. We don't know the particulars of what caused the death, if it was, just natural causes, heart attack, stroke, if he had cancer, if it's COVID-19. We don't know at the moment, but we are going to be back tomorrow night, and we will do a tribute to Bullet Barb Armstrong. But I just want to let you guys know that he has indeed passed away. What a messed up way to close the night, man. Dang. All right, so tomorrow night is indeed our traditional Cerebral Smack Talk. So we're going to have that. We're also going to have the recap of SmackDown Live and the preview of Payback. That's going down this Sunday night, live on pay-per-view. So for Anthony Floyo, for Didi Woodson, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching this. As always, like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share all your friends on all social media platforms. Have a good night, everybody. So long, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.